strength agility.
Is it? Okay.
I'm looking at the underlines in the tracker, and right now they both indicate strength agility, but I'm not sure if those have actually been able to be updated for the names yet.
Another thing we'll notice is those stats. That is some really good HP and okay agility. Really bad strength, really bad MP. It looks like they're checking to see if they have a return spell, which they don't, to save this one key that you start out with. If you get out of the castle without using that key, then you have a key to spare, and you can use it for other things.
Fortunately for them, they did find the fighter's ring in the Tentacle Throne Room, which will give them the extra 2 attack power, which is desperately needed with such a brutal strength level to start off.
Yeah, 6 is still almost nothing. We see, oh wow, we actually... Oh my gosh, Drakeys have Dragon Lord Breath! Well, so much for that idea. I was about to say, we might see some early XP there. Drakeys are usually what you want to find when you have this low attack. Bentglasstube, unfortunately forced to run away from a Magidrakey. He can't reliably hurt it, even though he did get a critical hit for 4 damage.
Yeah, it does look like we're going to have to be grinding on slimes in this one.
Yep. Yeah, we actually see mcgrew choosing to run away from magicians and Magidrakeys. Okay, here's a slime. Looks like Bentglasstube is fighting a Drakey. Let's see if he finds out the scary thing about them.
Oh, with one more hit to go.
Yeah, he'd done like, what, 4 damage, and they have around 5 health. Note that health is slightly randomized. It looks like Bentglasstube actually hits the reset there instead of just being sent back to the castle. Actually takes a little more time than normal because of the initial starting text.
Yeah, you sometimes see that when there's gold in the throne room, when somebody decides they want to get a better roll. But since there's no gold here, I don't know how much time that's going to save him, or what that's offering him to reset.
So let's buckle in, because we're going to be here for a little while they search out literally only blue slimes in this encounter zone that are viable to level off of.
One important thing to note is that, if I understand everything correctly, this opening zone can have 5 monsters from a pool of 7. And so we've seen 4 of those, and 3 of them were not really grindable. Now that we just got that group boost of 9 attack power, that might change.
Yeah, that was a really nice level up. So, looks like mcgrew's now comfortable taking the, Why is Bentglasstube resetting again?
Oh, I wonder if he accidentally started it on medium, on normal text speed instead of fast. So that seems to be what he was adjusting there. Because yeah, a difference in text speed could be very costly over the course of a run.
Oh yes. It's basically like 1 extra frame for each letter printed out, which is twice as slow, and adds up to several minutes. Oh, okay. Bentglasstube actually switched builds from a to a big Z, which actually is... So he was on big L, which is strength agility, and now he's on strength HP.
So that explains the new file, or the reset there.
Yeah, it looks like mcgrew is really off to the races. If bentglasstube can kill this magician, which looks like it's going down okay, he should be in good shape. mcgrew's going to be fine taking this death, though. You really just kind of want the healing from dying every once in a while.
It's looking okay for bentglasstube for a while, but I believe that's 5 consecutive misses, and maybe 6 consecutive misses, and maybe a tall order to finish this one off.
Yeah, he bails out. I don't know if I agree with bailing out. When you only have 5 health left, you might as well just die. Like, you're not getting your health back any other way. There's no gold to preserve, just take the death.
So I'm wondering if he's wanting that so that if he keeps wiping, he can immediately reset to save a little bit of time and going back to the throne room. But you don't want to do that when you're that low on health, because it's not...
Yes, it does actually preserve your health.
Right, so you won't have to go through the opening text again, or it's faster than just waiting for the whole game over sequence and then go back and have the king chew you out. But you're still going to start over with 5 health again, so it really doesn't help you out.
Please keep your 1 experience. It matters. Oh, magicians have heal. That's a little obnoxious. Looks like he might be trying to peek into one of the other encounter zones, hoping that maybe there's a higher chance of fighting enemies that are fightable. But yeah, you shouldn't be fighting those Drakkies.
And here he is doing the reset to try to speed up the death sequence, but coming back with 5 hit points.
That 70 damage fire is the Dragon Lord's Fire Breath. Strongest attack in the game. Normally, when you're fighting the Dragon Lord, you're taking only up to 48 damage, because the Erdrick's armor actually confers some fire resistance. And... yeah, he actually reset down to 0 health, or 0 XP. So yeah, just take the death. You don't lose XP on death. You don't have any gold to lose, which is the only thing you lose on death. And yeah, this is definitely mcgrew showing that he knows how to handle this kind of early mess when you don't have a free level 2 to get to. I do like this idea of trying to wander a little bit, hoping that maybe you'll find something. And we do find a cave. It looks like it's the Silver Heart Cave.
This does often tend to be my strategy, because I get bored trying to grind, and I hope maybe I can find the bonus cave with Erdrick's Sword or something to give me a fighting chance.
Meanwhile, mcgrew's gotten some nice levels, but I haven't seen his spells. Does he actually have spells?
I have not noticed any spells.
32 agility lets him get away from that blue dragon, though. That's actually pretty nice. Okay, he has the sleep spell. It's nice. Looks like BGT is really hoping for a crit on this magic Drakkie. Meanwhile, mcgrew is trying to sleep a skeleton to death, but unfortunately it wakes up too many times. He drops 2. Okay, so on the tracker, why do some stats have underlines or colors? So the underlines show you the build. So strength and agility are mcgrew's 2 bonus stats, whereas strength and HP are bentglasstube's 2 bonus stats. The colors kind of show you what shape that, like how good that stat is right now. So the reds just mean that that stat is completely awful. For most of the game, we'll see them be white. When we see them start to hit the kinds of numbers that are close to what you need to finish the game, they will turn orange. And when they are definitely high enough to fight the Dragon Lord, then they'll turn green. So orange means that it's close or borderline for fighting the Dragon Lord, fighting the final boss. And then green means it is definitely good enough. That stat is definitely good enough.
While mcgrew is continuing to have trouble finding a high-value monster to grind, having just been...
Yeah, it looks like he's not really satisfied fighting 10 XP monsters when he needs like another almost 100 XP. But sometimes that's what you gotta do. He also looks like he wants to find some more stuff. And bentglasstube getting the bad news that magicians have heal, and therefore you're not going to whittle them down 1 HP at a time. Please don't reset. You need that 1 XP that you have. Oh, red slime. That's actually really what you want at the level 1 stage.
I think that's the first appearance we've had in this game.
It actually is the first experience, because we haven't seen them wander out of the starting zone very much. You see mcgrew really leveraging that sleep spell. I'm not sure if it'll be enough to fight this warlock, but if it is, then... Oh no, it resisted the sleep and he was forced to run away. Blue dragons have hurt more. And that sends mcgrew back packing. We haven't really seen very much. It looks like they might have to cross this swamp in order to get anywhere.
Yeah, I haven't been able to tell if that little forest over to the east side of the map, I haven't been able to tell if it completely ends there, but it doesn't look like there's much beyond that.
Yeah, they do have enough health to walk across that swamp if it's not too big. Especially now that mcgrew has 48 health. He could get through 23 tiles of swamp and still be alive. He hits level 6, maybe he'll start exploring now. That's a big strength boost, 16 power and 12 MP, but still only sleep spell.
And, yeah. And without healing, it can be dangerous to go all across a really, really big swamp. I know you have recent experience in that.
Yeah. I have experience in that. My own seed last night required getting through 19 tiles of swamp in order to get anywhere that was not Tantagel Castle or a couple small caves. Uh-oh. mcgrew finds that wyverns have sleep.
An old-fashioned sleep-off here.
Okay, it looks like we are going to finally see this forest over to the right. He's opting to sleep and then run with the guaranteed, or sleep and fight? No, sleep and run.
Just wanted
You
to
do
test
get
how
a...
much that strength boost gave him.
Yep, you do get a 100% chance to run away from a sleeping enemy. So it's probably a higher chance of working on medium strength enemies than just trying to run right now.
Meanwhile, we see bentglasstube was
Finally
able
getting
to
that level,
get
yeah.
level 2.
And that's 9 strength boost, so now he'll be able to fight most of these enemies. It's unfortunate that happened 15 minutes in game, so he's about 10 minutes behind in hitting level 2. Meanwhile, mcgrew's gonna finally trek across this swamp, and he finds more swamp. And he finds a magic wyvern, which instantly sends him back home.
At the end of the swamp, there's plenty of monsters that are willing to finish the job.
mcgrew hitting level 3 there. Once you hit that level 2, then next couple levels are a little easier, because you have enough strength to actually kill normal enemies instead of only fighting slimes. This is quite a swamp that we've got. It's very fortunate that this little patch of grass is there so that you can cut across the swamp a little bit further. We have a wizard, which sends mcgrew back home. This little forest on the other side of the swamp is looking like a pretty mean encounter zone. We've got magic wyverns and wizards so far sighted there.
Yeah, so you can't feel too comfortable with the other 3 monsters are going to end up turning out to be either.
Yet again, wizard sends him home. He's actually got around a 50% chance of running away from wizards. But yeah, they have checked off to the right. Then, looks like this swamp is going to be what unlocks stuff. We've got bentglasstube finally exploring some of the right area that, we do have the Staff of Rain Cave over to the right. So it's not nothing, but it's nothing useful right now. Looks like they might be exploring a little more to the right, though. Making sure they're being thorough about that exploration. Or possibly just looking for better enemies to fight. Yeah, it seems like he wants to fight the metal scorpions and warlocks that we've seen in this encounter zone.
Have we seen either player go into Hawksness and see if there's anything grindable in there?
We haven't seen them really look for encounters in Hawksness yet, no. But in the second encounter zone, we have Drakimas, warlocks, and metal scorpions, so that's 3 pretty good enemies, and then we have, I think, slimes and red slimes. Oh, sorry. skeletons are in there. And yes, at this point, XP is indeed XP. You want to just kill things that are able to be killed.
And we have heal more. The swamp doesn't seem so bad anymore.
Oh, that's gonna trigger mcgrew to really start going towards exploration. Also enough max health that he won't die in one hit from everything that is here. Although, wow, werewolves too. He's gonna go for that sleep and run tactic, but it might not work. These enemies do have pretty good chance of resisting it.
It's close to a 50-50 resist for a werewolf.
Yep. It is affected by the randomizer, I believe, but within a range.
I believe the stop spell resistance is randomized. I think the sleep resistance stays static.
Is it completely static, or is it just... Okay.
I believe it's static, but I would trust somebody in chat to clarify that. Usually it's mcgrew who sets us straight, but...
unfortunately, he's in the race. He certainly knows whether it's static or not. And he went for the sleep, so apparently it's not nothing. Or it's not always going to resist the sleep, I mean.
And Ryu in chat affirming that stop spell is randomized, but sleep and hurt resistance are not.
Have we seen the far east side of the continent over to the east?
I don't think so. I think the same kind of monsters that we're killing is at the end of the swamp.
Yeah, we seem to be finding some blue dragons and some more swamps. Yeah, magic wyverns, werewolves, and wizards. Ah, we found a town. Any remaining? A little bit. It is Garenham. Unfortunately, we don't have any keys yet to get through the locked door here and get those chests. But, see, leather armor, small shields. Looks like he's gonna pick up maybe both of those. Yep. Get some little defense going. Tries to sleep lock the Wraith Knight so he can get away. Unfortunately, it doesn't work. He actually has 45 agility, so he might just be able to start running away from these instead. It's better than a 50-50 chance at this point.
And on the other side, we see the Golem has Dragon Lord 2 Breath, which is not going to be pleasant, especially
those already
spike tiles.
Yeah, those already hit like trucks. At the very least, if it's the gatekeeper enemy right before the Dragon Lord, then you can possibly fairy flute it.
mcgrew finding out about that.
mcgrew also finding out about the golden golem.
It's maybe one of those seeds where on that chance it's worth it to find the flute, even if the flute's like at the coordinates.
Oh, it looks like bentglasstube is finding his way through a different swamp. So this is some new territory here. He found Charlotte Castle. Trying to decide what to do with this drill magi, though. Tries to run away, but unfortunately fails.
mcgrew, seemingly having had enough of the werewolves, decides to venture east again.
Interestingly, he hasn't ventured north, which is where the way bentglasstube is going that found him Charlotte Castle. And it looks like you actually have to go through less swamp to get through this way.
Yeah, it's one of those areas that, for most of the safe zone, it looks like it's going to be a dead end, so it kind of discourages you from looking, but obviously if you played enough of this, make sure you see that border.
Unfortunately, we have more swamp and a bridge to nowhere. Shoutouts to Sparkover. It's not quite a Sparkover bridge. Oh, that's an interesting little desert formation that we have on mcgrew's screen. So BGT can't actually get through that swamp, but he does try to peek at what's up there. Unfortunately, he hasn't been gaining XP during these little exploration stints, so he's not any closer to getting hurt more.
That is the real danger of deciding to do exploration and forgo, or in areas where you can't really grind. It's a calculated risk, because if you come across coal and can get Erdrick's armor, or you come across a cave, then you can get Erdrick's sword, it can really rocket you ahead, but if you don't find that, you end up falling so far behind your opponent.
I would say that information gained from exploration is vital, so it's not really falling behind when you're sacrificing some XP in order to gain that information. You just have to make sure that you're not sacrificing so much XP that your opponent's exploration is going to be significantly faster and more effective because they could survive better while doing it.
Dark Shadows, that early town is Hawksness, so not a great place to gear up.
Yep. From Garenham, we saw some really expensive stuff. We saw like a flame sword, and then we saw leather armor, small shield, which mcgrew bought. Looks like BGT's deciding to go back to grinding weak enemies.
mcgrew having a similar thought.
mcgrew grinding marginally stronger enemies, but not that much stronger. Yeah, he bought a leather armor and a small shield. And yes, Miria-chan, Dragon Quest III is actually a prequel, and Hawksness is not ruined, and you get the armor there is important.
And the blue dragons have hurt more. That should be fun.
Yep. bentglasstube has managed to close this level gap a bit. He's still 300 XP behind, but that isn't necessarily all that much. And they actually have different information on exploration, so I would say that even though he took a big time loss early just taking so long to get level 2, he's not as far behind as he seemed like he would be. Partially because this level 7 has stalled out a little bit for mcgrew. mcgrew just hitting level 8, and...
Nice boost to attack power, but not much else.
Yeah, that's a really nice boost to attack power, though. That's for sure. mcgrew finally going to be going north and finding that there is in fact something up here. It looks like bentglasstube is also going to be going back north now that he has a little more HP with the level, maybe? No, he's just trying to fight slightly stronger enemies in a different zone. We're finally going to see what's over north of this bridge. This swamp bridge. Who made all these bridges out of swamps? Those aren't swamps, the world flooded, and those are low water crossings with sharp rocks. Ouch! So then the Erdrick's armor would... It just protects you because it actually has boots.
Apparently mcgrew designed Southwest Florida. Well said, Sports Effie.
Looks like bentglasstube has found a little pile of hills here that he's really happy about. Fighting warlocks and some other things. Seems a little slightly better of a zone than what mcgrew is doing. Meanwhile, mcgrew finally finds another town off to the north here. Is he gonna get to the town, though? No MP left, and he makes it to Rimmildar. Immediately beelines for the key shop. And as we saw yesterday, the key shop here is really a huge find. So there's the unlockable treasury in Tantagel Castle. There's also the basement of Tantagel Castle, which leads to a random cave. And also, he knows where Garenham is, which has more locked treasures, and a locked cave as well. Peeking at the shop, he sees large shield, broadsword. He can't quite afford it. gets some wings. He might decide to use those to head back to the start, back to Tantagel instead of continuing exploring in this area. We'll see. Oh
Wow.
my goodness!
That whole village over here.
So, let's see, we've already seen Garenham and Hawksness. So we have Rimmildar, Cole, Breckenary, and Catelyn left. So it's 3 out of those 4.
And we got Catelyn.
With those keys, he's probably going to check the coordinates. Keys and the Heal More spell. Also checking the shops.
Have we seen a silver shield yet?
We have.
Okay.
$63 north, $43 west. That's going to be somewhere north of Garenham. Yes, the coordinates lead you to the item that's hidden on the overworld. In the original game, that's Erdrick's token. Many people just used a guide to find out where that is, but that old man does in fact tell you the coordinates to Erdrick's token in the original game as well. It sounds like a princess seed. That is countable. It'll be challenging to count, but I believe like mcgrew is certainly very, very good at that type of counting. So he might go for it without. It doesn't seem like it's on a separate continent, which strictly requires counting when that happens.
Yeah, my best guess is it's going to be somewhere slightly north of the area where he was getting killed by all the werewolves earlier.
Oh, did he also buy a copper sword? I didn't see that. He gets a nice sleep lock on this werewolf, plinking away for 10 damage at a time. And bentglasstube just hits his heal more level. Fills up MP at the wizard in Tantagel Castle. And it looks like he's going to go and explore to the west here too. He'll end up finding Garenham. His strength HP build is looking pretty nice right now with 70 HP. It already has more HP than mcgrew despite the lower level. And when you have an early heal more, that's something that can really be nice because your healing is really more limited by how much max HP there is to fill than it is by anything else.
bentglasstube seeing Garenham on his screen now.
Yep. He has a little more money right now than mcgrew did when he found Garenham, so we might see a different purchasing strategy. Bentglass, so your name will alter your stats. You see how 2 of their stats are underlined? Those are the stats that get the bonuses. So the big Z is a strength HP build, and the little z is a strength agility build. It's about a 10% difference in stats.
bentglasstube choosing to forego the leather armor and small shield. Or not.
No, he's just also getting a dragon scale. Unfortunately, there's no weapons here other than a flame sword. mcgrew having a really good time sleeplocking these werewolves. That's kind of impressive considering they do have some reasonable sleep resistance.
Yeah, sleep resistance is 7 out of 16, so should be close to 50-50, and he seems to be landing a whole lot more frequently than that.
Looks like he really wants to just stay alive right now, so he's going to head back to Breckenridge, use the cheap inn. Might be trying to purchase some better gear, like that broadsword. Apparently Charlotte Castle has a little bridge to the back door, but Dragon Lord keeps it locked. And
we have the mountain cave over on mcgrew's side.
Yep. Let's see what we get here. He's almost coming up on that first chest. bentglasstube is exploring some area that we haven't really seen yet. To the north of Garenham.
His power gains from the last 2 levels are really working in mcgrew's favor, as he's now able to 2-shot the wraiths.
Yep. Yeah, he's a good 20 strength ahead. A magic key. That's nice if you haven't found Rumildar yet. It's a little bit more irrelevant now. Oh, and it looks like bentglasstube finds a different way over to these towns up at the north. Finding
mcgrew finds the Stones of Sunlight and a Cursed Belt. And you have to wonder if he's going to just try to set up a potential gold grind here after clearing this cave out. Not knowing what's in the treasury, it's a risky move, but having seen a flame sword and a silver shield could be very, very beneficial.
So since there's 3 chests in the starting room of Tantagel, and there's 5 chests here, literally everything in the treasury will be dupable, so it doesn't matter if like the first chest that you find is gold, you'll still be able to dupe it. Looks like he wants to maybe dump his MP on gaining some more levels first, though. Uh-oh. It looks like bentglasstube hasn't actually found Rumildar yet. But he's making a beeline for this mountain cave, which also has a key in it, and therefore will still get him the critical first key. Once you find 1 key, then it's then you can purchase more keys in Tantagel Castle. So it doesn't really matter where that first key comes from.
As long as you have the 85 gold required to buy that additional key in the castle.
Well, he can always kill some Magidrakies and Warlocks and stuff near Tantagel Castle if he doesn't have that 85 gold when he dies. And it looks like mcgrew's now going to explore to the west edge of the continent. He's actually not going to find anything over here except for Garenham. He hasn't checked the chests or the cave in Garenham yet, so that's not the worst thing. There's that first key for bentglasstube. mcgrew finds the back door to Sharlock.
If only.
Also picking up some torches in the item shop in Garenham now that he's here. We've seen this XP gap actually grow a little bit to 1,000 XP difference.
Just to answer chat, 98 gold is the cost of the key in Camlin. It's 53 in Remolder, 85 in Tantagel, and 98 in Camlin.
Right after buying a dragon scale, he finds a dragon scale in the treasure chest, then realized he hasn't put on the dragon scale he does have.
It can always be a really nice reminder.
There's also a key locked behind the door. Somebody locked themselves out of the house, I guess.
And with the money being back there too, you could set up what's called a ghetto gold grind, where you just keep having to go through.
And it's Vanilla Garen. Looks like we have Vanilla Garen's grave here. Yes, so the Death Necklace curses you, which makes it impossible to enter Tantagel Castle. And if you die, then the king will kick you out of Tantagel Castle and leave you with 1 health and 0 MP instead of healing you to full. And the guards will not let you re-enter Tantagel Castle as well. And it added in the randomizer, not in the vanilla game, it penalizes 25% of your max health and adds 10 attack power, which can help if you have very lopsided stats and want to fight the Dragon Lord. Or if it's very early game and you have really low attack power but really high HP.
If I'm not mistaken, mcgrew just picked up or found another cursed belt in Garen's grave. And the reason that's relevant is because we've now found 2 cursed belts. The Fairy Flute and Erdrick's Token can be found either in the search world or in treasure chests, but if they show up in the treasure chest, they replace the cursed belts. So by finding those, we have guaranteed that both of those guaranteed that all 3 search spots will have an item.
Starting to wonder if there even is a swamp cave. Well, we haven't found swamp cave. We haven't found the jerk. And we haven't found Erdrick's tablet cave.
So there is gold in the bottom right chest of the treasury, which means the gold grind is doable here.
So the empty chests either mean that those probably mean that they're herbs. Chests are never set as empty, but they will appear empty if you have maximum herbs or maximum keys when you open an herb or key chest.
But since he had to use the magic key to get into that room, he couldn't have had max. So they must have both been herbs.
Correct. Let's look. We found Swamp South, and then when you cast outside in Swamp, you always exit the north side. So we find the Sunstone Shrine, which has some gold in it. Looks like BGT actually made the rare purchase keys in Cantlin so that he could buy some keys, then check the coordinates. Lavkeen, I'm not actually sure if there's going to be a second round matchup reveal stream. I'm not in charge of that. mcgrew is desperately trying to get away from this green dragon, or trying to kill it. Fails to kill it. He actually had 2 opportunities to run away if that's what he chose to do. But, it looks like bentglasstube gets the coordinates and immediately suicides by jumping on the lightning tiles.
Of course, having purchased the magic keys, you can now go and check the treasury and what's in the basement. Though wisely choosing to save first, because without any money, opening up both those key locks, or those keys, could completely exhaust his supply if there's not either a key or a gold in the treasury. Which we know there's.
Oh, he has exactly 2 keys. I wasn't aware of that. Yeah, you never want to use your last key because that means that you have to go back to wherever you got your first key from, whether that be Rimmildar or that chest with the key in it in Mountain Cave. You really don't want to walk all the way across the world just to get your first key. Again. But there is gold, so he can now go unlock this other door, purchase some more keys, and we'll probably see him go through the swamp cave as well. Meanwhile, mcgrew is exploring this area of the world on the other side of the swamp cave. bentglasstube uses a torch and uses the torch to find out it's swamp. You'll see more experienced players do what mcgrew did, where he kind of fumbles around in the dark, listening to the bonks to try to figure out what cave it is. Because there are some caves that are not too difficult to navigate completely blind. The swamp is actually one of those. Yeah, BGT's keeping up. He's definitely slipping behind a little bit, But considering that he was still level 1 at 15 minutes in, he's doing his best to keep up. And you do expect EXP to accelerate a little bit in this game, rather than just be gained at a fixed rate. So I wouldn't say he's slipping any further behind, even as the XP lead grows.
It does look like he is trying to get up enough gold to buy something. As he keeps raiding the Stones of Sunlight Cave over and over again.
And you're probably not going to see him do this to get something super expensive, but maybe he'll want to get some, like, armor and a broadsword.
It's one of those things that looks good if there's something nearby, but he does know where the mountain cave is and has not fully explored it, or has he fully explored it at this point?
He has fully explored it.
Okay, well...
So he probably doesn't want to go all the way
Right.
through Mountain Cave again just to set up a grind when there's no other benefit to it.
Right, I agree.
And mcgrew finally finds the jerk way up in the north after finding on the other side of the swamp cave. Northeast, really. Zero, zero, zero. Empty Eye would be truly proud. Yeah, somebody should clip that and share it with Empty Eye. We called it a level with at least 2 0 stat gains an Empty Eye level. And he would say, I love it. This is a lot of ghetto gold grinding, actually. Is he going for... Maybe he's going for that flame sword?
That would be my best guess. Probably feeling like he's not able to grind efficiently enough with that copper sword. Thinking that this...
It could be the type of thing
that...
that he needs to start gaining XP at a faster rate. Especially with Hawksness, with Heal more available and a good sword, he might be able to take out this red dragon. Because we see mcgrew kind of struggling with it, with the copper sword that he has.
And that hurt more is not going to help matters.
Oh, it's not really gonna hurt either. Oh wow, that critical hit is really... Oh, and then barely surviving the follow-up from the dragon. That would have been really depressing if you get the critical hit but then die. That is a big deal for mcgrew. What do we find? We find the token. Not completely earth-shattering, but that 255 XP is no joke either. Trying to decide what to drop. He drops a torch. Okay, at this point he's still going in and out of this cave. At this point I gotta say it would have been faster to go back to Mountain Cave and set up a real gold grind in the treasury.
Yeah, I definitely would agree with you there.
Okay, it goes just a little bit over 10k, so maybe it's just like a slight... slightly more than what he needed for that flame sword.
Maybe he's wanting to get the flame sword plus the large shield plus, I don't know, a half plate or something.
Chainmail or something, yeah. Yeah, the armor certainly would have been a very big deal for mcgrew, because it kind of changes how you can approach the game. You're no longer limited in the amount of healing that you can do as you're exploring around and so forth. And you can also just fight stronger things. Especially given that their attack power is still a little bit mediocre with only having a copper sword. mcgrew does have the stones, the token, and the staff, so he is capable of picking up the rainbow drop.
Which I assume is probably where he's headed right now. And
Yeah, he knows where that is. Yes, that is correct, Will Wagner music. If you cast outside when you're in the swamp cave, it always takes you out to the north side. We actually saw mcgrew take advantage of that earlier. He realized he was in swamp cave south, immediately cast the outside spell to basically teleport right through it, because Tantagel Basement is the south side of the castle. Yeah, we saw BGT after doing his grind, he actually saved, and then he died to a wizard, which would lose him half his gold, but he saved first. This time he's going to heal up after getting through that big swamp. Armor is not confirmed on the overworld because we have not found coal yet. So it could be either in coal or it could be overworld. mcgrew does opt to rescue the princess rather than count out the 63 north, 43 west. Also, you have to question the king's intentions when his daughter is locked in his own castle.
Seems like someone should be punished for that oversight.
Guarded by a knight.
So I'm thinking we might be seeing the Ghetto Grind Part 2, because it looked like he wanted the full plate armor and is 1500 short. And since we know there's both gold and a key back here.
Although I don't believe he knew that there was gold and a key.
Ah, you may be correct on that.
And it looks like he's pretty happy just to pick up that sword. And he's gonna head into the, He's heading into this, realizing it's Gant's grave. We'll see if he's comfortable navigating this in the dark or if he's gonna go by a torch. Oh my, he did lose the princess. That's a little bit rough. Wiped to an Axe Knight after rescuing the princess.
Well, if nothing else, it's 2 more Axe Knights to grind.
Yeah. Although it was an Axe Knight took him down. Those aren't easy with this copper sword. And only 66 strength. That's correct, Will Wagner. Basically, the chest counter only resets when you go to the overworld. So, if one side of Swamp Cave goes, if Tantagel Basement has a cave that has chests in it, like Mountain Cave or Garen's Grave, or if it goes to Swamp Cave, which leads to the back of Garenham. Those are all ways that you can set up a gold grind. The way that the gold grind works, basically, is that rather than having all of the chests in some kind of permanent data that gets marked whether they're open or not, the game just keeps track of up to 8 chests that you've checked, and resets those if you ever go to the overworld. If you open some chests and then you die and end up in Tantagel Castle, then you haven't gone to the overworld, and so that counter's still full. So let's say you checked 5 chests in Mountain Cave, you die, you go back to the throne room. That's 3 more chests in the throne room. So now you're at 8 chests that are checked. And so whenever you check a further chest after that, there's nowhere for the game to mark that you've checked the chest, and so you can just keep opening it over and over and getting the item out of it over and over, or the gold out of it over and over. If there's an item in it, it will also mess up in displaying what item it is, which gets some pretty funny things, like finding an axe ghost in a chest. mcgrew making it out of that second Axe Knight fight, but he has no Healmores left. So we'll see if he can manage to rescue the princess this time. Now we see attempting to navigate. Seems pretty content to kill the things down here too. And mcgrew picks up the GPS, Gwaelin's positioning system. It tells you what coordinates you are at on the map, and he's going to go and find 63 north, 43 west, and get that item. Meanwhile, bentglasstube is struggling with a sleep-casting star wyvern. Manages to get away, though.
The whole class of monsters seems to be giving him grief. As the generic wyverns also had sleep.
I don't remember what magi wyverns have.
At this point, I think I've only seen them attack, but...
Interesting, he picks up the Gwaelin's positioning system, but he doesn't immediately go to use it.
It's like he was listening to you.
We seem to be too far north to for it to be on this continent. Maybe he made a estimated the position incorrectly in thinking that it would be on the Swamp Cave continent rather than the base continent. Did we get Erdrick's sword from for bentglasstube? Because mcgrew didn't go deep into Garen's grave, so it might be deep in Garen's grave that we have the Erdrick sword, or Loda's sword if you go with the original Japanese names.
bentglasstube hanging on by a thread, trying to get that last chest in the grave.
Yep. Yeah, he does have Erdrick's sword, you're right. No, it's not going to be a glitch if he found it in here. There aren't enough chests for it to glitch the name. And he just barely makes it to this last one, which is another key. So this weapon difference could be the thing that gives him a chance. Because that is a seriously good... That is a seriously good find, and it's unlikely that mcgrew goes back and looks for that, given that he already has the rainbow drop.
This could also be a good time for him to die and set off the glitch to get the silver shield.
Indeed. That might be why he came here, instead of going back to Mountain Cave like we were talking about. He's not looking for a death. Not sure why he's not looking for a death. Maybe just looking for some more XP before he dies? No. Why are you walking?
It is possible that he's a newer Dragon Warrior Randomizer player, and...
I mean, he was in the tournament last year, so he's not that new.
Okay. Well.
But he might have something. He might have had something else in mind, like I mean, given that he already did grind his way up to a flame sword, he might not be interested in the, just grinding just for a silver shield. I think he already has a large shield. Or small, no, he has a small shield, but he can buy a large shield basically whenever he goes to a shop with one. The orange and green stat colors. So, orange means that it is close or borderline for fighting the Dragon Lord on that stat, and green means that that stat is definitely good enough to fight the Dragon Lord. It's curious that he didn't go to Hawksnest, but it looks like he's, he wants to grab his Staff of Rain while he's thinking about it first. So we see the 77 agility. I believe we consider 76 agility, quote-unquote, green for the Dragon Lord. Because that's generally where you'll have enough defense if you have a good shield and the Erdrick's armor, that you won't take more than 48 damage, which is how much you're expecting to take as the max from a breath. Whereas if you have less defense than that, then his physical attacks could do even more than a breath, and you have to be a little more careful than normal. And we see bentglasstube easily cutting through these werewolves, which, mcgrew's still kind of struggling with enemies of that caliber. Knights breathing fire. Dragons with swords. What's the world coming to? That's correct. They don't have the good armor yet, so you don't see the DP orange or green yet. Did mcgrew get the item off of the overworld?
I don't believe so yet.
It's interesting, because he was certainly wandering around the right region. But I didn't see if he grabbed it while I was not looking.
Based upon the way he just avoided that swamp, I'm guessing no. And based on the damage noise in that swamp, I'm feeling confident in that assertion.
Well, it could be the fairy flute that's on the overworld, couldn't it?
Yes.
We still don't know where Cole is. It's possible that he's grinding while walking around and he wanted that refill. That's true. Only 13 more XP for a level up. Looks like he only needs to go about 16 tiles north. 13 tiles north.
You can see side by side the difference in speeds that bentglasstube can get through monsters ahead of mcgrew, but with
Yeah,
a
but
3,000 experience difference, it's
Yeah.
going to be really hard to make that up.
And we're still seeing bentglasstube take some deaths here and there.
Now, with mcgrew getting the fairy flute, that means that the armor is guaranteed to be in coal.
Yep, and we still don't know where that is. There's a little bit of area on the other continent. I think there might be also some area on the west side of, or sorry, the east side of this continent that has not been explored yet. An interesting thing we haven't seen them use yet is we haven't seen very many repel casts. Oh, but mcgrew picks up hurt more, and he's ready to abuse it on dragons. Especially when he's got a town a few steps away.
Yeah, and unfortunately for bentglasstube, having mcgrew having hurt more helps offset a lot of the difference in weapon strength there, and is going to make it difficult to make up any ground.
Indeed. Although, it could make that red dragon in Hawksness a more viable grind location in a few levels. Which is the type of thing that could catch you up.
Very true.
We do see mcgrew replacing his copper sword with a broadsword. That's a 10 attack power boost. Also helps close that gap a little bit. So, looks like mcgrew's really working on keeping that lead. mcgrew will, in fact, does know how to use hurt more. And I agree. He should be using repel. And he apparently also agrees. Erdrick's sword is deep in Garen's grave. mcgrew only picked up the three first floor chests in Garen's grave, and then left.
I will note that we have already seen in this round somebody go down and defeat the Dragon Lord with a broadsword. So there's no guarantee that mcgrew is going to go make that dive back in if he doesn't have to.
Grave is beneath Garanham. It's vanilla. No, mcgrew found Garanham and found the grave. He only checked the first 3 chests in grave, however. And given that he already has the rainbow drop, he might not go back there. Because that is a deep dive for maybe an Erdrick's sword. Yeah, he got the harp out of grave, but that was on the first floor. Bentglasstube is stalling for a little bit after entering a cave. Not having any torches, not having the radiant spell yet.
He's in the tablet cave right now.
And the tablet cave is not one I like doing blind. He does have the outside spell at least. And it looks like he's confidently walking through it. There he goes right to the chest. Not casting the outside spell? Does he not have it yet? Is it level 10 that you get that? I don't know. Oh, no, he has the outside spell. He just forgot. He is level 10, so if the tracker could bump that up. So mcgrew knows he needs to find coal at this point. I don't think we're going to see a Sharlock dive without the Erdrick's armor. The tracker knows the stat randomization for the seed because the tracker program loads the ROM and examines it. Yes, the tracker program does indeed cheat. The tracker program is not allowed to play in the tournament. Is this coal? It is, and this is going to be the Erdrick's armor for mcgrew.
And now, with the Hurtmore
Erdrick's armor. He has got a large shield as well. He probably will not do a gold grind for a silver shield at this point. So he's probably just going to end up fighting the Dragon Lord with that broadsword if it's not too ridiculous of a level to do so. It's 20 attack power short. The overworld spot was the fairy flute. And the Hawksness spot was the Erdrick's token. We had the silver... So now that we know where everything is, let's go over it. Cole, which is on the same continent as the Swamp Cave, is on the second continent with the Swamp Cave, had the Erdrick's armor. The coordinates were at 63 north, 43 west, had the fairy flute. The Hawksness search spot had the token. The Stones of Sunlight were right at the beginning, right? Am I remembering that correctly? Where were the
don't
stones?
remember.
They in the mountain?
I was thinking they were in the mountain cave, but I could be totally wrong on that.
No, because the thing is, the Mountain Cave Ryu was also next to Brecken Cantlin. So anyway, I was going over where everything was. So the Silver Harp was in Garen's grave on the first floor. The Staff of Rain Cave is east of Tantagel. The Rainbow Drop Cave is on the second continent. Behind, which is access through the Swamp Cave underneath Tantagel. And the Erdrick's sword is deep in Garen's grave. Noting that mcgrew did not dive deep into Garen's grave and did not get the sword. Charlotte Castle is just north of Tantagel. And we found magic keys. Rimuldar had magic keys to the north of straight to the north of Tantagel. The Mountain Cave also had a magic key, which is where bentglasstube got his first magic key. And got his key set up, started off of that.
I suppose mcgrew is looking for... I don't know that he's found the tablet cave yet. Because...
I don't think he's looking for the tablet cave, but I don't know what he is looking for. You're right.
Because at this point, if you're not... I mean, he knows where Garen's grave is. He knows he's got the 2 treasure chests there. The only other treasure chest he hasn't gotten is...
You know, he might just be wandering around while killing things because he needs XP, and the two grind... yeah, no, he's just heading back to Swamp Cave. He's gonna go grind on this Axe Knight with the Hurtmore spell.
Yeah.
Silver Shield is the best shield. It has 20 defense. The large shield has 10 defense. And yeah, here we are. mcgrew's just gonna grind on this Axe Knight. And he's probably planning on... Maybe... He's probably hoping that that Sherlock has the Erdrick sword, but might not be banking on it.
Now, the Swamp Cave south is connected to the castle, correct?
Correct. So he can just die and come back with full HP after running out of MP.
Nice fast recovery. Those were pathetic stat gains at level 13. This may end up being a really... a lot of Axe Knights killed tonight.
It might be, especially if mcgrew's got to get extra levels to make up for the lack of Erdrick's sword.
And of course, as a strength agility build, he also still has a little ways to go to get to enough health to even take on the Dragon Lord, on top of having to make up that power. Again, 4 levels ahead of bentglasstube, and he's only got 1 more max HP. So that could come into play.
We're seeing that XP difference suddenly skyrocket as this is pretty much the fastest enemy to grind for XP in the game. Axe Knights die to the initial Hurtmore something like 80% of the time, and they give the most XP of anything that reliably dies to a Hurtmore that you can find in a grind spot, a trap tile. It looks like bentglasstube is about to find Cole as well. Pick up his Erdrick's armor. This is actually the smallest gap between him hitting a major milestone and mcgrew hitting that same major milestone. Do you think that mcgrew will go back. Do we think that mcgrew will go back to Garen's grave without checking, or after he checks Sherlock and finds there's no sword there? No, it's not a 50-50. He's checked 3 out of 5 chests in Garen's grave. He got the silver harp from Garen's grave. It's just the deep chests that he didn't check. The 2 deep ones. So there's 7 out of 10 chests that he's missing in Sherlock. He's missing the Erdrick's tablet cave. And then he's missing 2 chests in the grave. So he thinks he's 70% to find the sword in Sherlock.
Meanwhile, bentglasstube has found coal in the second continent and gotten his Erdrick's armor, and so he's pretty much geared for the rest of the game. And this, we know that the token is in Hawksness, and so he's in a pretty good shape to try to take on that red dragon. And as soon as he gets that, he's in go and grind mode.
Mm-hmm. He hasn't saved the princess, but I don't... he doesn't know, so he doesn't know whether it's Hawksness or the overworld that has his token. But he might ignore the fairy flute once he finds the token, assuming he checks Hawksness first. And bentglasstube just hits his ultra empty eye level of level 11. 0 strength, 0 agility, 0 HP, 1 MP. I love it! mcgrew's looking for something, but I'm not sure what.
My only guess can be the tablet cave, because he's literally found everything else. Unless he's completely forgotten where Sherlock is. Or else maybe he's looking for the grave and forgot that it's in the back of Garanham. I know that's happened to me a few times.
I think it's most likely that he's looking for the tablet cave, because it's a quick check once you find where it is. And you can kind of pick up enemies, hurt mooring your way around the world for XP while you're looking for it. Yeah, he's 4 levels up higher and has 10 less attack power. You know, that kind of difference does matter, and we're starting to see bentglasstube close the XP gap a little bit with that Erdrick sword, while mcgrew is looking for the tablet cave, which is on this second continent, if I remember correctly. And it looks like bentglasstube wants to count out 106 steps. He does know it's a mostly
right
safe...
there.
Yeah, I would definitely do Hawksness first as well. He does know that the general direction, but you gotta do Hawksness first. He needs to count 43 west and 63 north. Looks like he's already gotten the 43 west, and it's pretty much a straight shot north. So, I mean, in his defense, he knows that it was a straight shot if he was taking notes on it for a map. So as long as he doesn't make any counting errors, it's not going to take too long. He might have had an off by 1 error. So he's going to start spiraling around.
I believe the next spot will be the actual armor.
There's the fairy flute. Those off by 1 errors are very scary. The fairy flute puts the enemy golem to sleep with 100% chance, although it takes a really long time to play its little sound.
Yep, 8 seconds per toot.
He's thinking now. Gonna go ahead and toss those wings.
Assuming he's heading toward Hawkson's now.
Probably prepping up to head over to fight that red dragon. With the
Also
Erdrick sword, I don't think it'll be too difficult. He has 108 attack power.
On the note of golems, it's also significant to note that the golems in this seed have Dragon Lord 2 Breath, which is even more powerful than what their standard nasty attacks are. So putting them to sleep can be very nice, though usually you're able to run from them.
bentglasstube fighting the red dragon for the Erdrick's token. It's a lot easier with the Erdrick's armor to reduce that hurt more damage, as well as just the higher defense. And higher max HP. He's not dropping into critical health and being forced to swing anyway the way mcgrew was, although mcgrew did get a lucky crit. Alright, you're in go mode, bentglasstube. Let's see what you do with it.
He looks like he may be grinding.
Red dragons are not bad to grind against, if you can kill them moderately efficiently. 255 XP is a lot.
And since he never rescued Gwaelin, he may be unaware of the Axonite spike tile and Swamp Caves.
He also doesn't have he also doesn't have hurt more, which is really what makes that Axonite so appealing.
Yeah, fair enough.
Also, he doesn't have Stop Spell, which would allow him to maybe silence the Red Dragon. We don't know what the Red Dragon's Stop Spell resistance looks like. That is affected by the randomizer.
It is randomized anywhere from 0 out of 16 to 12 out of 16.
And yeah, I agree that dying to the Red Dragon is faster than walking back. Although it looks like he's going maybe to Swamp Cave to see what the spike tile there is. And yeah, it's easy to get into the mentality that dying is a time loss, but it really costs very little.
Especially when both of these spots are so close to the king.
I mean, mcgrew's... So, you're saying mcgrew doesn't want to get the next level on the way? He's missing a lot before he can go fight the Dragon Lord. He needs... That is a lot of HP, at least. He's still very, very short on the strength that he needs, though. Even if he did have the Erdrick Sword, he would only have 127 attack power. BGT fighting a golem, getting fire breathed. It wakes up from his fairy flute, fire breaths him, and he gets sent back to the base. It looks like he did not check to see what the spike tile in the swamp cave was.
No, he was headed straight towards the dirt cave, I believe. Was his intention.
So minus 25% max HP. You really need 130 health to still be at a safe HP level, which is 97, is kind of the quote-unquote minimum for Dragon Lord. The reason it's 97 is because you want to be able to take 2 hits of 48 damage. So you cast Heal More, you could take 48 damage, then you hit once and then you take 48 more damage and you're still alive. So, you know, he might get enough max health that the Death Necklace does become viable, but I don't think he's expecting to rely on that right now. I think he's still hoping for that Erdrick Sword in in Sharlock. But he might just be planning on looking for that on his final dive. Meanwhile, we have bentglasstube blowing the fairy flute at golems. I don't really like fighting golems for XP. They have so much max health. And if they basically have anything dangerous, then they're just not very efficient to fight. If I were bentglasstube, I would want to be stepping on the gas. I would certainly feel behind at an hour 43 minutes in and still level 11. Honestly, I would feel behind if I were mcgrew as well in this case, but mcgrew is doing what I'm saying and stepping on the gas by Hurtmore grinding.
Since I get bentglasstube's mentality right now, because this golem will take him to the next level, which who knows what, but man, he is losing a lot of time on this one monster.
Yeah, it takes a long time to, like, you play the full fairy flute song every single time you use that item.
Now he's off to get his drop.
Hurtmore is indeed level 13, Maria. mcgrew gets another refill, heads back down to the Sax Knight. Meanwhile, bentglasstube is finally going and picking up his Rainbow drop.
Power increased by 1 isn't gonna do it. Here comes another 2,250 experience points.
Mm-hmm. Next level is at 12,000. It is pretty close. 88 defense doesn't defense break very much in Charlotte Castle. It doesn't even defense break so it's enough to defense break only the werewolves and the wizards, I believe.
88 will defense break werewolf, green dragon, and wizard and star wyvern.
Wizard and star wyvern as well. Or sorry, star wyvern and green dragon as well. Okay.
If he managed to get the silver shield, he'd also be defense breaking the X Knight and blue dragon.
Yeah, that would be a big deal. Because 97 is pretty high agility. That said, he probably plans to just run away from everything, given that he's over 90 agility. And honestly, with how fast Axe Knights are to grind, they're just so much faster than every other alternative that I kind of agree with this. Just go until you're ready on the Axe Knight, and then go for Sherlock. Thing with this super high agility that you have.
As we just mentioned in chat, it'll be interesting if mcgrew has forgotten that he didn't get those 2 chests engraved and is planning on having the sword on this dive, and what is he going to do when he hits the basement, opens up those chests, and it's not there. And then the next question, if he does remember and it's not there, and so he knows it's got to be in the grave, does he grind another level, or does he go to the grave? It's one of those with a more time-efficient way to get that attack power back.
So the Princess Guard wasn't a constantly respawning enemy like in last year's tournament. That was added in 2.0, I believe. So he might not have checked all of the updates since last year and might not be aware of it. And I mean, so we're talking about clearing all chests before grinding. It's really a toss-up, I think. When you're feeling behind, you might feel like you have to take the risk of not taking all that time to go back through Garen's grave and just hope that the cards line up the way you need them to.
I think that if he had Third Sword, he'd be able to take on the Dragon Lord at this point.
130, it would be a not guaranteed fight, but it certainly would be close, and it looks like he might be gearing up to go down the Sharlock. So it looks like he's going to make the gamble that the sword is in Sharlock Treasury, and he hopes to go down, pick up the sword, and then go to the Dragon Lord immediately. What did Bent just cast? Oh, he accidentally cast Hurtmore on the red dragon and then died. Red dragons have 15 out of 16 chance to resist Hurtmore.
As Will Wagner points out, that kind of thing happens a lot when you've had heal more at the bottom of your spell list for so long, and then you get hurt more. Muscle memories getting you to just select that bottom spell when you need to get healed, and it takes a minute or a few battles to reorient yourself.
Looks like he's trying to get some HP regen to sustain fighting the red dragon. Yeah, 116 AP is certainly comfortable fighting red dragons. $70 defense is a little on the low side, though. I would feel worried about getting hit by high 40 damage. Well, what do we have in Sharlock? Enemy-wise, here's golems. Those are actually a little scary if you fail to run away. They aren't hard to run away from. With 101 agility, he'll have like a 80 to 90% chance to run. But that Dragon Lord Breath can 2-shot him, or I guess 3-shot him. Depending on it, but if he's not full health, it could even 2-shot him. Also, you're right, he's not trying the stop spell. They can have up to 12 out of 16 stop spell resistance, but it could be much lower, and it could be turn all of those Hurtmores into wasted turns. This is in fact still live. We've been going for almost 2 hours. mcgrew still does not have the Erdrick sword, but he is 7,000 XP ahead. It took bentglasstube 15 minutes to get out of level 1 because the only fightable enemy was a blue slime in the first zone. And mcgrew gets the bad news that the Erdrick sword is not here. It's in the Garen's grave. And now he's starting to fight enemies because he thinks that he might have to. He's also dumping his MP.
And I'm sure he's making his way to the vanilla sword location.
Likely. Green dragons are certainly good Hurtmore targets. bentglasstube checking his stats. If sword was in vanilla, it might have been better to hang on to his MP. It's true, but at this point, it's less than 50-50 that the sword is in vanilla for him. So, I think he's expecting the worst at this point and just expecting to require a second dive. It looks like the level tracker was a little off. I'm going to agree. Suiciding to refill your MP is significantly faster than walking back.
I definitely think that everybody else has mentioned that grinding those, or using stop spell to grind those red dragons would make it go a whole lot faster. But now I'm wondering if he's heading to Sharlock.
I'm not sure where he's going, because this isn't the right way to Sharlock.
Is he looking for herbs?
Oh, you're right. Yeah, he might be dropping over to Garenham to pick up some herbs. mcgrew gets the bad news at the vanilla sword spot. Is he going to head to Garen's grave now? Has he even found the tablet cave? He does have the rainbow drop.
My best guess is that he's obviously it looks like he's going to Garen's grave. That had he not, or we know he's going to find him in there, but if he didn't, he'd give up on trying to find Tablet Cave and just grind. So
to mcgrew, in mcgrew's perspective, the Erdrick sword is either one of the two chests in Garen's grave or the one chest in Tablet Cave. He's going to go for the place with two chests that he knows the location of over the place with one chest that he does not know the location of. The Tablet Cave is, in fact, nothing.
It was fairy water.
It's fairy water, yeah.
bentglasstube did find the Tablet Cave and check it, so.
So mcgrew's going to go finally pick up his sword. We'll probably see him cast some Hurtmores in here. And once he picks up this sword, he will be absolutely ready to fight the Dragon Lord. He's also closing in on level 18. You're right, he is grabbing gold chests, thinking that maybe he'll need to pick up the Flame Sword instead. The Flame Sword would be an 8 attack power boost, which could, you know, if he is forced to do it without the Erdrick Sword because it's in the tap, if he didn't find it here, then it would allow him to have the option to go maybe a level or two sooner. The Silver Shield is always 14,800 gold. It's pretty impractical to buy without doing a gold glitch. And we actually didn't see either of these runners set up a gold glitch. Although we did see bentglasstube farm a chest for enough money to buy a flame sword. bentglasstube picking up his large shield for a +6 defense boost. And mcgrew finally gets his Erdrick sword on the third floor down in the Garen's grave. He needs a couple of, yeah, I mean, with 101 agility, he's pretty likely to get down there without losing Healmores. And with 120 HP, he's pretty likely to get double turns as well. So I would say go for it, especially because you can't feel great about finally entering Sherlock with the intention to clear at over 2 hours into the seed. And yes, that agility is indeed nuts. It is the agility build. Although the strength HP build at the same level will be able to don the death necklace. Although it might not be optimal to do so. The Dragon Lord has 100 defense, which means that with 131 attack power, that means you're doing, you take the defense, you subtract it from your attack power, so you get 31. You take half of that for your max damage, so 15, and then half again for your minimum damage, which would be 7. Rounding down, of course. So that gives him around 10.5 damage. He has 12 Healmores, because they're 8 MP each. And you usually get one turn at the beginning, and then 1 turn when you run out of MP. So that'll be at 14 swings at 10.5 damage. He'll be just short of hitting the 150 to 165 damage range. And yes, it is in fact a shift right. Because why would you do expensive division when you can shift? So, you know, he needs to get what we call double turns. What we mean by double turn is when you get a turn that you have, that the Dragon Lord does not do sufficient damage to bring you into an HP range that you must heal after a single hit. So your normal pattern is going to be swing, drop below 48 health, cast Heal More, swing, drop below 48 hit points, cast Heal More. But if you know, with 120 health, Dragon Lord might hit you for like 30 damage twice in a row, and you're still above that 48 threshold, which is the max damage he can do with a breath attack. And so you can hit twice without needing to heal, and those are what we call double turns. He'll need 1 or 2 of those in order to beat the Dragon Lord with these stats. But the 120 HP does make it pretty likely that it happens, especially coupled with a fairly high 90 defense. So we've got one more required fight. There's a choke point right before the Dragon Lord that will have a trap tile in front of it, and you have to beat that in order to get through to the Dragon Lord. And then you need to fight the first form of the Dragon Lord, who can cast Stop Spell and Hurt More.
I'll also note that he's currently 307 experience away from the next level. So supposing he can find something other than a red or blue dragon on this floor, that plus the spike or the mini boss should be enough to put him over.
Oh, he's having to drop heal mores before even getting there, though. This is supremely bad luck on this red dragon. Yeah, losing 2 heal mores on that really messes with his math. And now he's really going to be hoping for a good level up. 14,500 is the XP requirement. He'll most certainly... Oh, he's not killing the green dragon.
You know, Stop Spell does not put you under another threshold, so...
And again, we were, knowing whether these red dragons are vulnerable to Stop Spell is a big deal. Oh, actually, no, he didn't need that, he just needed the trap tile. 3 power, 11 speed, 2 HP. That's not really what he was looking for. And he's in pretty rough shape right now, with only 10 heal mores remaining. And not enough HP to throw that death necklace on either. He's gonna go for it, though. 11 more agility. Would have been nice when you're trying to run away from that red dragon. He does have a solid chance of double swings, but he needs them. 13 HP. Gets a double turn right off the start. We're at 24. $38 damage. $49 damage. These are good damage rolls. $61. $70. His damage range is 8 to 17. 82. 97. $111. Dragon Lord's not being too kind with the double turns. On the other hand, he is getting really nice damage rolls. 127. Dragon Lord has up to 165 health. The minimum, I believe, is 150. 141. Looks like he's in the clear. $154. Did I miscount? Nope. 168, and it's gone.
Everyone, get out your GGs for mcgrew. Finishing with an official SRL race time of 2 hours, 10 minutes, and 59 seconds. And it looks like we have mcgrew in the room. GG, mcgrew. All right, while we wait for the technical difficulties to get through, looking at bentglasstube getting close to getting to level 16 and might wonder if he's going to try to dive there one last chance.
While we're waiting for mcgrew, does chat have any questions for him? How did you do it, Nick Rocky? What were you thinking? Okay. I'll get your question in Draconis once we, or Darkonis once we get mcgrew's mic on. Yours as well, Betastrap. I don't know. I like the silly questions just as much as I like the quote-unquote real questions. Okay, we have a green circle in Discord. We're getting there, but the microphone is not picking up anything yet.
Yeah, I agree with you, Ryu, that that level up for bentglasstube was just not quite enough to make that dive, even under desperate circumstances.
Yeah, it's not quite. I thought it might have been enough HP to don the death necklace, but it's not quite. Looks like he's looking for the way into Sherlock. Maybe he'll look for that last level on the way down. Although with only the 85 defense, I wouldn't feel super comfortable with the amount of incoming damage that you'll be taking. mcgrew does seem to be unfortunately having mic issues. So that might throw a wrench into our planned post-game interview.
Well, based upon the fact that he just ran from that werewolf, I'm guessing bentglasstube is not intending to grind that last level on the way down, but just take his chances on the Dragon Lord here.
Yeah, it looks like it.
The big part of the problem is going to be just getting to the Dragon Lord. We saw how much grief the Red Dragons gave mcgrew on that last dive, and he had significantly more agility than bentglasstube does right now.
Yeah, bentglasstube is looking at a 50-50 chance of running away. It's still a very high agility value, particularly for a non-agility build, to have more agility than strength at this level.
No, he did decide to take out that werewolf, so... Looks like he just wants to keep us on our toes.
Might also be doing the math on his way down. Oh, we have audio from you.
Finally. Wow. Yeah, Discord was being a pain.
All right. So
GG.
we had a couple we had a couple questions from chat as well as some questions myself. First I wanted to ask you
The answer is probably I'm rusty, but go ahead.
Actually I wanted to ask how you felt about that early game.
I didn't think it was too bad, really.
Okay. Particularly the level 2 looked really rough, like getting from 1 to 2. You actually were quite ahead at that over bentglasstube, who took a solid 15 minutes to get out of the trap that was level 1 in order to fight 5 slimes.
Oh, wow. Yeah, the level, I mean, it was a little rough. I pretty much knew slimes or maybe red slimes were about the only thing I could handle.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I stuck to those. Of course, there weren't any red slimes in Zone 0, I don't think, so I stuck to the blue slimes.
How did you feel from Beta Strep? How bad a shape did you feel you were in when you dove Sherlock and you didn't find the sword?
Yeah, I thought I was behind at that point. Like I felt like maybe it was pretty even before that, and then I got there and didn't find the sword, and I was like, oh boy.
I saw you looking around on the map a while. after having the rainbow drop, was that also you looking for for the sword in some way?
No, I was looking for Sharlock. I had seen it near Garanham, but I kind of remembered where it was, but kind of forgot. And I went through the swamp cave thinking, because I'd seen the back of it, but I couldn't see how to get in. So I went through the swamp cave thinking, well, maybe there's a way to get there from the other side of the swamp cave, and there wasn't. And
Okay,
it was like, So I hadn't seen the front of Sharlock. I was trying to find the way in, basically, before I grinded the levels.
You never did find the tablet cave, did you?
No, I never did find that one. And I was worried. I was thinking about that when I was looking for the sword. It's like, I hope it's in the grave. If it's in Tablet Cave, I have no idea where that is.
We noticed it looked like you were trying to get some gold on your way down in the grave. Was the plan there at that point to just get the flame sword and head back?
Yep, that was kind of my backup plan. If it was not in the grave, I was going to get the flame sword, grind on the axe line a little more, and then dive again. Because I felt like looking for Tablet Cave would have been a waste of time. It would have been faster just to grind up another level or two.
Likely. Especially with those axe knights being available.
Yep, and another 10 HP or so, or less than that, probably I could have used the death necklace.
What were your thoughts of those red dragons at the bottom of Sharlock?
Yeah, that was not fun. Like, I had no trouble running from any of them until that one. That one red dragon just did not want me to get through.
Yeah, I just spent some time bragging about how amazing you were able to get through all those red dragons that you came across, and then that last one was having none of it.
Yep. I had to burn 2 Healmores on that guy, and that got me worried about the Dragon Lord fight. Luckily, the extra level that I got, kind of pushed me over the top a little bit. Because I felt like my stats were kind of borderline at the previous level, whatever. I think it was 14, I think, 15. I'm not even sure. No, I was 17, wasn't I?
Yeah, you finished at 18.
Okay, yeah, I don't know. So I was level 17. I felt like my stats were kind of borderline. I thought I would win, but I wasn't sure. And then, after burning 2 Healmores, I wasn't so sure. But, I had kind of grinded on the way through Garen's grave, just looking for, enemies that were worth fighting. And then, of course, on the way down through Sharlock, I was, punching the werewolves and green dragons just to get that extra level, because I didn't need very much to get it, so... I figured I was most of the way there already by the time I got into Sharlock, so I might as well get it.
Yeah, bentglasstube heading in with a really risky level 16 on the Dragon Lord. 128 attack power gives him 7 to 14 damage. And he was already down a Healmore, so he's only at 11 Healmores here. I lost track. I didn't get, He also only had a single herb for Dragon Lord once.
Yeah, the hope is with 125 hit points you'd be able to get double attack, but so far that has not happened.
Yeah, that was kind of in the back of my mind as well. I had 122 hit points, I think. That would help me out some too in the Dragon Lord fight. I was surprised I was that far ahead. I didn't...
10 minutes ahead hitting level 2 alone certainly was a factor there. Also, there were a couple points at which you kind of hit certain milestones. You basically kept that 10-minute lead most of the way through. There were a couple errors that were made on both sides, but for example, your gamble on not deep diving in Garen's grave.
Oh yeah.
Bentglasstube counted out the steps to the fairy flute before fighting the red dragon when he already had Erdrick's sword and he was fully capable of fighting that red dragon. So you maybe could have saved some time there too. Also, he never checked the spike tile in Swamp Cave, so he was doing red dragons for his grind, which is still fast when you have the Erdrick's sword and good attack power, but it's not as fast as hitting Axe Knights with Hurt More.
Yeah, that was really fast.
That's really what kind of pushed your lead from a few minutes ahead to 15 minutes ahead.
Well, unfortunately, bentglasstube just had some nasty rolls there. I don't believe got a single double hit in the whole thing, and went back to the king.
Yeah, his average damage wasn't looking too high either.
Any other questions from chat?
Actually, one more thing. Repel. Were you not casting it for a reason? I know that sometimes I like to leave it off when I'm wandering the overworld to pick up XP as I go. But there were times that I think I would have cast Repel in your situation and you weren't doing it.
No, there wasn't a reason. It was probably just that I forgot about it.
Okay.
Again, I'm a little rusty. It's been a while since I haven't played a lot of Seeds lately, so
Gotcha.
since the Chaos tournament, so. So yeah, a lot of the answer to why did you do this is going to be that.
Gotcha. I mean, it was one of those situations where it's like, well, maybe I would cast Repel here. Maybe I feel like I could pick up more XP if I didn't cast it.
Yeah, I don't think there were too many enemies that. I mean, there were a few enemies that were kind of worth fighting that I could whack and get 40 experience points or something from. Just hit them once, but. Yeah, for the most part, it was just me forgetting about Repel. Besides the upcoming bug fix, next changes. I mean, if you go to the GitHub issues, there are a few things there. Some new modes that I want to add. Cursed Princess %, where the goal is to give the princess a cursed belt when she gives you her love.
Interesting.
Three's Company, where the goal is to bring Gwaelin to the Dragon Lord.
Ooh.
And
wouldn't that make it? What happens when like the overworld item is on the second continent in that mode? Have you thought that through?
What do you mean for the?
Like, what if like Erdrick's token is on the second continent, and you would otherwise need Gwaelin's love to find it? If your goal is to bring the princess to the Dragon Lord.
Yeah, well, I mean, bringing the princess to Dragon Lord, you need the token anyway to get into the castle, into Sharlock.
All right.
No, the first mode was give her a cursed belt, and for that you don't need the token or anything else. You just need to fill your inventory of cursed belts, basically.
All right. So we'd like to wrap this up. We're gonna go ahead and give our host over to bentglasstube as he finishes out this race.
All right.
We are kind of running a little low on time.
Yeah, it was a pretty long seed.
Yeah, it really was. Oh, Will Wagner asks, have you ever thought of adding a side exit to the castle treasury for easier exit, because sometimes that knight can really block you in?
I hadn't really thought about that, no. I don't know, I guess it's a thought, but I don't feel like it's a big issue. You don't really go into the treasury that many times normally, so...
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, so, let's go cheer on bentglasstube as he finishes out this kind of miserable, long seed, and have a good night, everyone. Thanks for watching, thanks for supporting us, and be sure to give these runners a follow. Let's raid with nice little take energy emotes.